And welcome back to the Cabbage Patch. I'm Dad.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Gus, and I'm still getting used to this.
Yeah, doing it in our kitchen is different. We need to probably move some lights in here now that the sun's gone down again. Today, we continued our quote-unquote educational games, right?
Yeah.
What did we play today?
We don't need to show the box.
We
it's
don't need to
already
show
on
the
there.
box, but the box is actually really pretty because it's got a cool
But it's
diorama.
already on there.
It is already on the screen. It's got a cool diorama on the inside.
Oh, yeah, it does.
That's from, I believe, Arches National Park.
You only showed us, not the camera.
No, I showed that camera. We played Parks, which you can see down below me right here. That's the box from Parks. It's a game for how many players? There's 1 to 5, I believe. 1 to 5 players. Ages 10 and up. Supposed to be able to do it in 40 to 70 minutes.
And
We did it in about 45.
And luckily, I'm 10. So
And
I
luckily
can't
you're
play
10. You
this.
can play it. It's a game about hiking
Kind of.
and exploring the national parks of the U.S. So the game starts off with you find them and take them away. The game board grows as you play the game, and you get each player gets these little hiker meeples that you move along the path of the hike to get to the end of the hike to then do an action. And on your turn, you have to move your character forward. One of your characters, you each have 2 hikers. You have to move them forward at least 1 space.
And
but
move them any distance.
and you can move them any number of spaces.
You could move one straight to the end, which is not recommended.
Which is not recommended, certainly not on the first turn. And each space has resources that you collect. And those are here in these things. So you've got water, trees, sunshine, mountains, and Gus's favorite, the wildlife, which you can probably see there on the table. And the wildlife are wild. They can be they're wild. You see what they said? See what they did there?
Like wild cards.
They're like wild cards, but they're wildlife.
Yeah,
They
wild
can be
cards.
any color resource. And you use those colored resources to ultimately visit national parks. So here's one of my favorite parks in the world. It's the Badlands National Park. Let's see if we can get that up there. There, see? And in order to visit the Badlands National Park, I need 2 mountains and 4 sunshines.
And I bet that place was hot when you
It
visited.
is actually, it can be quite warm. It is just on the edge of South Dakota, just at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, just outside the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. It's a very beautiful place, but it can be really hot.
It's probably as hot as today, if not hotter.
Right now, yeah, it's probably pretty warm. It might not be, it's probably pretty warm right about now. It's June.
Probably like 100 degrees.
Pardon?
100 degrees or something.
Well, it was almost 100 degrees here today, so that's not really that much of an indicator. But anyway, your goal is to visit as many national parks as possible. And you visit national parks by collecting resources through your hikes. And the game takes place over 4 seasons. And each season, the path grows longer. So on season 1, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. On season 2, it's 7. On season 3, it's 8. And on season 4, it's 9. And each season, there's a different random effect in play associated with the season card. Right, so this is the Season of Stone. It says gain 1 sunshine every time you get a mountain, which is cool. And that's it. You're wandering through the U.S., collecting stuff, and then visiting parks.
Collecting sticks, beams of light,
Yeah.
droplets of water,
And
rocks. And
and
also bears.
so when you get a meeple to the end of the path, you have an option to reserve a park that you've been eyeing. And you reserve a park by taking it and you putting it sideways down here so that you haven't paid for it yet.
Unless somebody else takes that.
Unless
vote.
somebody else takes it before you. You can visit a park, which means you can spend your resources to take one of the parks and put it vertically in front of you. And then when you visit a park, it counts towards your final score. You can buy gear, and the gear cards have special effects on them that make things cheaper or easier to do throughout the game. You can also have other random effects that happen as you go there. Each player gets what's called a canteen, and they're all different. And you fill your canteen during your hike, and when you fill your canteen, you get whatever the effect is on there.
Which
so
is-
mine
Which can be anything from 2 beams of light to a tree.
Or Gus was able to trade in something for a wild or reserve a park. So Gus's canteen was actually pretty powerful. And you can get canteens as you go through the game. Right? There's a space here where if you land on it, you can draw another canteen or take a picture. And the only thing the pictures do, other than look pretty cool, and they're these little picture tokens, which you can't probably quite see there, is give you victory points at the end of the game.
So I wouldn't be able to reserve a park if I didn't have any water.
You wouldn't be able to reserve a park if you'd not filled
And
your
you still
canteen
would.
until you got to the end.
And you still would, right? Since you didn't have my canteen.
No, you can still reserve. You could have still reserved your park by going to the end and landing on the reserve of park space. So when you get to the end of the trail, so the trail starts here and it ends here. When you get to the end of the trail, you can take one of 3 actions. One is reserve a park, and the first person that lands there gets to be the first player. Where's the first player token?
It's over here.
Yeah, the player that goes first gets this cool first player token. It's a little metal token. Yeah, you can see it. It's good.
I was shocked that it was made
The
out
person
of
to the right of them gets the camera token.
and the first person was me.
That was you. The camera token lets you take pictures for cheaper. There's one space on the board that lets you take pictures. Usually it costs you 2 resources to take a picture. With the camera token, it costs you 1 less. At any point in the game, you can spend 2 tokens and take a picture. But those are really just they don't really do much except they look kind of cool, but they just give you victory points. They give you 1 victory point at the end of the game. And that's it. You march through the game, you collect resources, you turn cards over, you visit parks by spending resources, and when you're through that 4th season, you just count up your score. And the scoring is, if you look at the bottom of the Badlands here, there's a number 4. I think you can see that. Yep. That gives me 4 victory points.
Next to all the color things.
Next to all the color things. And so it's a pretty simple game, and it went really fast. Let's start with rules that we didn't remember to do right. There was something we didn't remember to do. Oh, on one of these things it says spend a water to copy an action from another campsite, and we forgot to spend the water a couple of times. So it's really important to make sure you understand what's going on these cards and what the symbols mean, and that's all explained in the manual. And also on the season cards, these random effects. So if you land on a mountain, you're allowed to take another sunshine, and we forgot to do that a couple of times in a couple of the seasons. What other rules? Can you think of anything else we missed?
No, not really.
A couple times I forgot to drain this water.
A couple times you forgot to turn in your water, so you fill your canteen with the first water that you
A
get.
couple times we forgot to use our canteen abilities.
This is true. So you fill your canteen with the first water you collect. You can't just fill it with the water that's already in your resource pile to do that. So that was a thing that we forgot to do. So there's a couple of little things like that. Otherwise, it was pretty good. Each player is also supposed to start off with a secret goal. We didn't really keep them secret because we were just playing it the first time. For instance, if I had visited 5 parks with water in it, I would have gotten another 2 victory points. I only had 1, 2, 3 parks with water in it. So you can, if you don't know that that's the case, then you don't know that I'm trying to collect water, and then you might be collecting water parks that I was trying to collect, right? So those are the rules, and those are the rules that we needed to remember. So pay attention to what's on the cards. You always have to march your person forward. You can't go backwards. That was annoying, right?
And I have a new thing. What was your favorite rule?
My favorite rule. I liked when you start the game out, when you start out each season, you put weather tokens down, and those are extra resources that you get by being the first person to visit that space and make a camp. So when we started out, it had water, sun, sun, water, sun, sun, water, sun. So the first person to land here on this 2 water space also got an extra water, sun, sun, water. Also got an extra water. So if you landed here, you got 3 water. So I thought that was a cool way to be the first person into a campsite to get an extra thing. How about you?
My favorite rule
was
Look at the camera, or
my favorite rule was probably the fact that you can use animals as a wild.
The wild tokens are wild. Yeah, that's cool too. Um, Another rule that you need to remember is two hikers can't occupy the same campsite unless
You use your fire.
you use your campfire token. So that means, and the only way to get your campfire token back in the same season is to get one of your hikers to the end, and then it'll refresh, and then your second hiker might be able to use it. So that was something to keep in mind. So two hikers can't be in the same spot at the same time without doing something special. That was actually kind of a cool rule too, right? So it was a, hey, if you're gonna be here with me, you need to spend a little extra. I thought that was cool. How about you, Thomas? What was your favorite part of it?
Gameplay wise, I don't really have a favorite thing.
Okay. Well, what's your favorite part of the game then?
The art,
The art. The art is really cool. These cards.
the tokens, and the visualization of someone asking you for two rocks, and you just give them a bear and a bat.
That's cool. How about you, Gus? So you like the art?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the art's, again, this is the third
The
nature game we've played. The art has been outstanding in all three of them. I also really liked the fact that I have been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, that's St. Louis. 7, 8 of the parks that are out here on the cards, right?
And
So I've been to the Badlands, I've been to the Grand Canyons, I've been to the Everglades, I've been to Mammoth Cave, I've been to Zion, I've been to Gateway Arch,
kind of.
sort of drove through it because it's in St. Louis. I've been to Acadia, I've been to Bryce Canyon, and these are all beautiful parks. And it really did remind me of the artwork reminds me of that too. So that's my favorite part.
And I just noticed there are these names here, and I don't know if those are who created the parks themselves or who created the art.
The names here are when it was established. So there's interesting facts on the cards. So for Zion National Park, it was established in 1919. Dan McCarthy must be the artist.
This one was established in 2018.
At the bottom. Oh, that's maybe why. So you know what? I was there before it was a park. It's in Utah. It's Utah's first national park, and there's all sorts of cool facts on the cards. So it tells you a little bit about the park that you're visiting at the bottom as well. That's it. I think it's a cool game. So. All right. So, oops.
Yeah, we have to give it a rating.
We forgot to actually give it a score. So, parks. How many cabbages, Thomas?
2.
2? I'm going to give it a 3. All right.
Okay.
So that's how many?
So
2 plus 2
equals 4
plus 3 equals 7. There we go. So 7 cabbages, and we'll remember to do that next time. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Nope.
No? All right. Are we ready to do the outro?
Yeah. Subscribe, like, hit that bell, Tommy.
Leave a comment if you wish.
Eat plenty of cabbages, not us though.
Because there are probably better cabbages. Just hike down that trail a bit more.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time.